I've been telling you now for weeks, folks, if you're going to beat the Auburn Tigers, you have to win in an ugly fashion. And yesterday, that's exactly what Georgia did. That was an ugly football game from beginning to end. Both teams had a lot of ugliness going on, but really, Georgia looked absolutely pathetic in the first half. Auburn just dominated that game up until the questionable touchdown/fumble. I think it was a touchdown personally. We can call it a fumble. It was just a bunch of confused SEC refs, and that's what we saw yesterday around a lot of the SEC, and that is confused refs in the SEC. It's pretty damn pathetic how poor the officiating is down there in the SEC. And then Georgia gets literally two of, I think, the bullshittest calls in the history of calls. I don't think that was a targeting call that was called, not targeting on the field. Actually, they went, if you remember correctly, they went and said, we are going to review the catch that was made. Then they came back with the targeting. And then you have this roughing the passer call that happened 2 or 3 plays later. The Auburn guy literally has him by the jersey before he releases the ball. He tackles him, and it's another 15-yard penalty. Honestly, Georgia couldn't move the ball without the penalties. And then, of course, we get into the second half, and Auburn, all of a sudden, Jackson Arnold can't throw anything in the air. Everything's down at the feet or overthrown. Just absolutely pathetic performance by Auburn in the second half. Really, what I took away from this game at the end of the day is Georgia's just not a Georgia football team that we have been accustomed to over the, prior for the last couple years before that. So let's say 5 or 6 years ago, the Georgia teams that we saw then, this is not. The bottom line here is that Kirby Smart tried to convince the world that he wasn't calling a timeout. Silly SEC officials bought this crap. We should have the John Gruden rule in college football, and that is there is no clapping on either side. You either come up with a cadence and a snap count that works in these things, silent or verbal, but you can't do this clapping bullshit. The Georgia Bulldogs won the game, but I wouldn't be very happy if I was a Georgia Bulldog because that is not a very good football team in terms of a national championship caliber. Georgia ends up beating Auburn in what a lot of people will say was controversial in many different ways. Bottom line is Auburn couldn't score in the second half. And that didn't have anything to do with clapping or anything to do with the fumble in the first half or anything to do with any of that. Bottom line is Georgia wins an ugly game, which is how I thought they were going to win it if they won it at all down there in Jordan-Hare. And the Auburn Tigers, again, just can't get over the hill.